Your content isn't booking you calls because you're not treating it as work. Instead, you're treating it as a low priority task on your to do list. You think, and by what most people tell you, that you just need to hang in there and you need to keep on pushing content without having any thought behind it, strategy, or intention. And if you do that, you'll finally start to have converting content. But you implement the strategy and it really doesn't work. So, why are you still following the same outdated playbook? Now, look, I've studied hundreds of niche content online on YouTube, and these are the three things I've pinpointed that if you execute on, people won't ignore your content. In fact, they'll binge watch it. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. But first, you need to understand what is content that can't be ignored. Well, content that can't be ignored has a high watch time, which means that people are actually watching the video throughout, like till the end, and they're getting nurtured, which means that more trust is being built. They trust you with what the value you're providing them. They trust you with how you're communicating with them. They trust you and they trust your value, which leads them to book a call with you. And these calls are qualified. They're not in like calls that can't afford what you have to offer, or they don't have the budget to invest in you. These calls are qualified and pre-sold and sometimes ready to buy as well. And that's why you have a ridiculously high close rate. This is a result you can't get with ads, you can't get with outreach, only content. And if you want a ridiculously high close rate, then content is the game to play. Now, this leads us to our first point, which is pre-framing. And I actually came across this concept while reading the book .com Secrets, which is a wonderful book by Russell Brunson. And he essentially explains that most coaches communicate their value in their content in a very straightforward manner. They introduce a topic and bluntly start teaching their face value content without having any psychological context, emotional narratives, or shaping the viewer's perspective in a favorable manner. So once they just dump the information onto the viewer who haven't been told how to receive it. This is a part I really have to emphasize on. They haven't been told how to receive the value that's been provided to them. Because the thing is, when you don't pre-frame your personal brand, you're letting the market decide how to actually take the value you're providing them and how to perceive your content before you get the chance to tell them how they should perceive it. And you might be thinking, okay, well, like, what's wrong with that? The market can just like see how they want to perceive my content. Well, if you let that route take place, well, the skeptical viewer stays skeptical, the distracted viewer stays distracted, and the viewer who was almost about to buy stays on the fence. That's why you cannot let the market dictate how they need to perceive your brand, how they need to perceive your content. Instead, you need to pre-frame it. And you need to understand that you can have the best teaching method, you can have the strongest proof, and you can have the clearest framework out there. But if the viewer's mental state isn't prepared to receive the way you want them to receive it, none of it lands. It's like you're pouring water into a cup that's already full. You keep on pouring the water, but the glass isn't absorbing the water because it's gonna overflow. The water is overflowing, meaning they won't grasp the way you want them to view your brand. Because right now your content isn't converting because it's bad. A lot of you think, oh, like it's bad what you're creating, so you don't end up creating. Well, that can't be far from the truth. It's failing to convert because you never put your viewers in the right psychological state to say yes in the first place. And once you understand this concept of pre-framing that I'm gonna show you, like what I'm telling you, prevent objections before they even form. You basically essentially remove doubt before it even clicks in, and the viewers enter in the right frame of mind. That means you have a favorable perspective on the viewer. And this is a concept we actually use for one of the people we worked with, Jacqueline, and while crafting the story sequence. And the starting of the sequence actually signals like what's coming next is the only logical solution to the pain point we elaborated on. So we first showed them their pain point, like this is your current situation, whereas her students and her herself is facing the total opposite situation. So the viewers really want to alleviate their pain point. That's why they click on to the next stories, and by the time they reach the CTA, the viewers receive it in a way we intended them to receive it, not in a way that their own doubt receives it. So we have the upper hand in how they're perceiving our content, and it's a 5-page story sequence, and it booked us 7 calls just because we implemented this concept. Now let me give you another analogy if this really didn't stick in. Like, let's say you're to meet a person, and before you meet this person, another person comes up to you and says a lot of negative things about this person, you would obviously view that person differently in a very negative manner. Whereas if another person comes up to you and says very positive things about this person, all of a sudden you're going to be extremely excited to meet with them, and all of a sudden you're going to have a very favorable perspective on them. This is the power of pre-framing, and once you start using it in your marketing angles, your content is going to convert. And by the way, if you're a Make Money online coach and you want me to implement the social acquisition funnel in your business so you can sign consistent inbound deals, then book a call down below one-on-one, and we can see how you can potentially work with us. We can have a little chat. But this moves us to our second point, which is amplifiers. Now you might be wondering, how do you make sure your audience actually sticks around and keeps watching your content? Well, your video style, your communication energy, visual elements, and pacing, all of these things that get treated as an afterthought instead of a part of an actual mechanism that keeps someone watching. So these are the things that keep someone watching. These are what I like to call amplifiers. And the current cycle you're stuck in is that you write an amazing script that you think is amazing, and you just deliver the content flat out. There's no psychological narratives in there. There's no emotional narratives in there. There's no conversion drivers. It's simple flat out value. And then you wonder why the retention drops at the same exact time every single time. It's that your content doesn't evoke any emotion. And here's the thing. If there are no amplifiers present in your videos, your audience won't stay long enough to get properly nurtured, because nothing gives them a reason to watch. And this is the main difference between a person who has brand credibility versus someone who lacks it. Because let's say you need to watch a video. Would you watch it from someone who you know, like, and trust, or would you just watch it from a random person? Obviously the first option, because you're familiar with them, you're familiar with their content style, their communication, how they present their value, you're familiar with them and you actually like them. That's why brand credibility is so important, and we ensure that all of the people who work with us, we actually find their USPs, unique selling points, and use it in their marketing angles. Now, things like us having a second angle, a new video format, a new video style, and a pattern interrupt, none of these elements actually teach anything. Come to think of it, having a new format, it doesn't show you another way, it doesn't teach you any value. However, it does buy you more time, so your messaging can stick. For example, you can notice I'm in a different background, I'm presenting my value in a different way. You can notice all of these things, and maybe you're sticking around till the end because you like the way my video is presented, you like the background, you like the way I'm communicating my value. All of these things make you stick around, which buys me more time to actually communicate my value. Now, the third and final step is content formats. Now, you most likely have one format and one background which you rip all the time when you're creating, and then you wonder why your audience has content fatigue. And it's not because they're tired of you. They actually like you. They want to watch your content. It's just you're not giving them a reason to keep on watching. And it's that your format never gave them a reason to feel anything different from the last 7 videos they've watched from you. And when you're stuck in one background and present your value in the same way in every single video, you only arouse the same emotion every single time. And you need to arouse the different emotions like urgency, scarcity, abundance. All of these things you need to, different emotions you need to arouse to help the viewer book in a call with you. And these are the formats you actually need to rotate with to actually get the most output from the content you create. Now, a lot of you might just watch this video and choose one out of these 3 formats and rip it. Well, the truth is, to get the most output, you need to rip all 3 of these formats simultaneously. And let's start with the first format, which is storytelling. Now, storytelling videos build trust and they build emotional connection. Now, this is the thing is, I always say this, that everyone has the same offer as you. Everyone has the same delivery fulfillment as you. A lot of people have the same drop shipping offer, the same Amazon FBA offer, whatever you your name. The only thing that makes you different, the only thing that makes your offer different is you. So that's why you need to start acting like it. You need to start finding different ways to present and actually communicate your value. And if there's no trust and emotional connection, even if the viewers think you're authentic and authoritative source, they'll never buy from you. Which is why they need to feel relatable. They need to trust you. And these are the things that will actually drive them to book a call with you and buy from you. Then comes the technical stuff. Now, this is what makes niche content. You need to have these technical stuff, and these build credibility and authority, because you need to also have the upper hand on the audience. You need to tell them I know what I'm doing and I can help you out in this case. And you need to build authority in a way that people understand, okay, you have the upper hand in this case and you know this thing better than they know it, so that's why they should get help from you. And lastly comes belief shifting content. Now this is overlooked a lot, but truth is belief shifting content is the main content format that actually pushes the viewer to book in a call with you, because you're getting rid of the current limiting belief that they have and breaking that down, eliminating it, and then giving them another belief, a good belief that they should adapt to. So belief shifting content actually reframes your perspective on the problem, and it builds urgency for the viewers to actually book in a call. Like, you can take my own example. The recent video I created, like, I learned this after paying $10,387 for online courses at 16 years old. Most online coaches are clueless. This is my belief shifting content where I show you my perspective of what's it like investing into these things and what I learned. Then comes technical content where I'm breaking down my exact unique mechanism. Like, I'm showing you every single part of it. For example, my full YouTube video workflow to sign 6,000 plus clients. I show you how to go from an idea to essentially how to post your video. And then comes presentation style, where I'm teaching you the method of how you can go from like the current situation you are to your dream outcome. Now, these are just examples. Like I said, you need to use all three of these formats to get the maximum ROI. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Hope you had a blast watching this video. If you're interested to work with me one-on-one, then click the link in the description below and subscribe, because I'm gonna be coming out with more content like this so that you can book more inbound leads from the content you create.